rising sign is the most personal placement in your birth chart. So when I'm talking about the rising sign, I'm talking about how you see things, your perspective on the world, and the attitude you use to take out and approach life with. It's also very much how you're seen by other people. It's one of the big 3 things to know about yourself, whatever your sun, moon and rising signs are. The reason why I say that the rising sign is the most personal placement is because it basically sets and lays out the foundations for the rest of your birth chart and will dictate the order in what signs fall in what houses for you. Now, not all Cancer risings are going to have the same experience because it will depend on your own personal placements and how they're aspected. This is just going to be a general look at the Cancer risings. So this is the cardinal feminine water sign that's ruled by the moon. That means for Cancer risings, your chart ruler is the moon. And, you know, the moon is going to be a very important part of your life. It's important to have a look at your chart and know where your moon is so you can understand how it's playing out for you and how you're projecting your rising sign. But because this is cardinal is a fast moving energy, and we're dealing with the water here, and the water is the emotions and feelings. So Cancer risings can have fast moving emotions. Now the moon, this is a very watery and receptive planet. It's a very intuitive planet, and Cancer risings are often very emotionally intuitive and intelligent people. The moon literally represents the mother, you know, nurturing, caring, emotions, feelings. So moon type themes for Cancer rising people are going to be very prominent for you in your life. And as I said, it's very important to check out your chart and know exactly where your moon is and how it's playing out for you. So, introduction's over. Let's have a look at what it's like to be a Cancer rising. Having the chart rule as your moon means that you're very emotionally driven people, and how you feel about something is of the utmost importance to you. And this is a cardinal sign anyway. Cancer is a cardinal sign. It's the cardinal water. Cardinal is a fast moving, quick energy. The water is the emotions. So Cancer risings can have pretty fast changing emotions in this lifetime. Now, how a Cancer rising sees and approaches the world is firstly somewhere where it's a place where they can see it needs some love and a bit of extra care. They definitely see it as somewhere where what nurture, what love can I bring and give out here? But apart from that, they actually deeply crave and want to seek out a path of stability and security in this lifetime. And that's in terms of their career, their relationships, financially, even in friendships. They need stability in order for them to feel okay in this lifetime. Cancer is represented by the crab, and you know, the crab moves in and out of the water. So the water being the emotions, and they come back onto land. So the same way here with Cancer risings is that, yes, you're very into your emotions, and your emotions are a big part of who you are and how you feel, but you have a deep desire to still have the land there, build that stability and have certain things in your lifetime that are going to make you feel secure. Because one thing Cancer risings are really, really skilled at is ensuring that other people's needs are met. You're very good at making sure people around you, you know, you're like mother hen vibes. You're always looking after them. You're always helping out. You're a very good friend. You're a very good partner. So they are very good at ensuring people's needs are met and can be very giving. It's important with Cancer risings, though, that they're getting a little something back from the people that they're with, and not just giving this out for free. You know, they're doing these nurturing and caring things for other people, but they really do deep down desire to have that love and care and nurture and affection shown back to them that they give out to other people. Now, Cancer risings can be more of an introverted energy, really. I mean, there are other planet placements you can have that will contradict that. For example, let's say you've got a fire sun and a fire moon, then you're going to be a louder type, or, you know, stellium in the first house, and you're going to be a bit more of an upfront Cancer rising. But Cancer rising is usually a little bit more introverted, so when they walk into a new environment, they're not usually the most louder person in the room. As I've just said, they quietly read the room, but it's more on a level where they're feeling things, they're emotionally, like with emotional antennas of working things out and picking up on people's vibes and what they're doing. They like to build an emotional database of their surroundings, and they can pretty good judges of characters, really, because it's an intuitive thing. They can pick up on someone's vibe and vibration, and they like to base what they do based on how they feel about something. This is because they're very sensitive to other people's energies that they're around, so they are quite careful of the company they keep and where they go, things like that. But because this is the rising sign and how you're seen, first house is how you're seen by other people. This means that people usually see Cancer risings as really nice and friendly, kind, soft people, quite approachable, to be honest, and you find that people might come up to you and feel quite comfortable to start just letting things out on you. You give off quite a calming energy. This is the water, so it can calm people down and you can make people feel comfortable. You're also a very good listener, so you might just find that people come up to you and start letting out things that you might not even be that comfortable really with listening to, but it's the energy you give off. You've got very much healing qualities. The water is very healing as an element, as it is. So, and with this being in your first house, this is an energy that people can feel from you. Cancer risings usually are quite expressive when it comes to telling people how they're feeling about things. I mean, obviously they're ruled by the moon, first of all, which is the emotions and feelings, which is a fast moving, fluctuating planet. So their moods are very fluctuating, which is why Cancer risings, you're known for being a little bit moody, and you can have pretty quick mood swings. I mean, the thinking and communicating house and the unconscious mind house are both ruled by the mutable signs. So again, you can just be pretty changeable in how you're expressing and how you're thinking about things. And the moon has so many different phases that it goes through in its lunar phase each month, like waxing, waning, new moon, full moon, balsamic moon, all different types of phases. So Cancer risings have experienced really deep, emotional, sometimes traumatic events in their life, and they remember things that emotionally scarred them. So they do like to express how they're feeling, and they can be a little bit reactive in terms of their emotions, obviously, but just in a situation you might find Cancer risings are kind of reactive people. And if you're around a Cancer rising, then you need to know that in the times when they're having their response or emotional response, everything that you say from that point when they've got into a certain mode you need to be very careful, because even down to the exact way you say things, the tone of voice you choose to use, they're going to pick up on it. And if they don't like it, that this is a sign that can get easily offended and can get defensive quite quickly. This is a sensitive sign, so this is why they get defensive on things quite quickly, actually. But if you upset a Cancer rising actually and you say something that is a couple of steps too far, then they will just withdraw and not want to talk to you and just go back into their shell. And like, if they're not feeling heard, if they don't feel like you're listening to what they're saying, or if you never remember important things that they're saying, or if things are important and they just won't like that, and they'll start to kind of shut down from you. So your responses to a Cancer rising when they're having an emotional reaction is very important. So when it comes to the topic of romance and children and sex and expression, that, guys, for you is in your 5th house of Scorpio. Scorpio, that is a fixed water sign. So this means for you guys, when you're trying to get to know someone, when you're dating, like, trust is a key thing for you to establish very quickly with somebody. You have to sense quite quickly if this is someone you can trust or not. A lot of Cancer risings, if they're speaking to someone and they can't get an emotional connection, they can't feel anything like that, they won't even bother carrying on trying to connect after that, because an emotional connection here is a must for you guys. You definitely need passion in terms of your sex life. It's an area that you require passion and intimacy and deep one-on-one connections. That's what you're about. You're about loyalty. You've also got Capricorn in the 7th house. That is one of the most loyal signs that you can think of. They are very stoic people. It's a very stoic energy to have. Saturn up in your 7th house. So you guys require stability and reliability and trust in a relationship, and when you're trying to get to know someone. And something very interesting I've noticed looking at many different types of Cancer rising people is that because this is the 5th house of children that represents children, a lot of them actually have children of the Scorpio archetype. It might not necessarily be a Scorpio sun sign, it could be a Scorpio moon, Mars, Venus, Jupiter, just heavy prominent Scorpio energy. That's something that they seem to produce in terms of children. Now, if we move up to the 11th house, let's look at friendships. Your 11th house of friendships, again, is ruled by a fixed earth sign of Taurus, which the reason why I said again then is because I'm saying it's a fixed sign. So it's that stability. Again, in your friendship groups, you require stable friends. You don't like friends who are here, there, everywhere, up about, can't keep, are not consistent with you, because you give a lot to your friends. You're a very loyal friend. I know this. One of my closest people in my life is a Cancer rising, and from a friendship point of view, she's extremely loyal. I can rely on her very, very much. She listens very well, and she requires stable friends around her. It's very nurturing. And one thing I've also noticed with Cancer risings is that they honestly cannot stand people where they're making all the effort, or in a friendship group, they're the ones always going there, arranging to meet them, or if they just feel like the effort is one-sided. This is when you'll get the other side of the Cancerian. They'll go quiet and they'll shut off. This is also the crab. And we know the crab's got claws and it snaps. So with Cancer risings, if you upset them, they can be quite snappy, and they do like to express how they feel. They like to get it off their chest. So an upset Cancer rising is never a pretty thing, really, because they take things to heart. They do take things to heart. It can take them a little while to get over something. Cancer risings can tend to overthink a little bit as well, because they have got their third house is Virgo, the mutable earth sign, but Virgo is ruled by Mercury, and Mercury is the thinking and communicating. 12th house, the unconscious mind. Gemini, that is the mutable air, that's again ruled by Mercury. So you've got Mercury ruling over like the mind and the thinking houses. So they can tend to analyze things, and have they can critically think about things. But having Gemini up in the 12th there means that they are highly adaptable in their subconscious, in their unconscious mind. They are very adaptable people, have the ability for really high intellect. They've got Pisces up in the 9th house of higher learning, higher knowledge, philosophical studies, things like that, travel, other cultures. You've got Pisces there, and actually the energy, whatever energy sits in your 9th house, is an energy that you can learn from. So Cancerians, Cancer risings, you do very well around a Pisces archetype or a Pisces type person, because they will very much help you tap into your creative side. Pisces is a super creative energy. Cancer is the cardinal water, which is creative anyway. But what Pisces do in terms of the water elements, a bit different to the Cancer. Like, you guys are very emotional, and you can withdraw, and can hold grudges against people. Pisces is a very forgiving and super, super compassionate sign. So even if they've been hurt by something, they will still love. They will definitely still love and show you how to openly connect with all sorts of people, and maybe not be so shut off and guarded. You can be quite guarded over yourself. As I said, the crab, it has an armor, it has a shell that it can literally go into. So you are protective of yourself, and as you should be, because you spend so much of your life, Cancer risings, taking care, nurturing other people, that you need to make sure you're surrounding yourself with people who are giving you this back, who can give you the stability that deep down you are craving. I will point out here though, guys, it does depend on if you've got any planets that are actually falling in your first house, and how they're aspected to your ascendant, because that is going to change the expression of your rising sign. And also, if you're an early degree Cancer rising and this isn't really resonating with you, then you need to check out the video before. And if you're a late degree Cancer rising, it's not resonating with you, then you're going to have to look into the Leo rising. Now, I want to just throw in some quick personal examples. It's an energy I've just seen and viewed from many different angles of the archetype, and have a lot of personal experience with. So my closest cousin that I just said, she is a Cancer rising and a Cancer sun sign. She's actually got a stellium in her first house. She's got her sun, Venus, and something else that's slipping my mind right now, but she's also a Scorpio moon. So her big three are triple water. If you're a triple water person out here, Your emotions are so serious to you. Her emotions are everything. How she feels about something is, you can't tell her any different. She's an extremely emotionally driven person because of that heavy first house energy that she's got as well. She's a more extroverted Cancer rising, a little bit more loud. She's the type of person when she walks in the room that I'm like, hey, hey, you know, whereas let's look at my brother. He's a Cancer rising, but he has a super stellium in Scorpio. Different energy. He's also got an air moon. So he's a more introverted and not as outwardly expressive. Scorpios are known for being notoriously private. He's a very private person. So he's a little bit more controlled really with his emotions, especially in terms of outwardly expressing them. My other half, who is a Cancer rising, but he's as a stellium Aquarius up in the 8th house. So again, it's not a more controlled Cancer rising in terms of their emotion, but definitely someone who feels things very deeply. It's a little bit more private about how it plays out and more of an introverted energy. So let's finish up and look at the angular houses. The angular houses are the more important and prominent houses for you, and they're the 1st, 4th, 7th and 10th. Now the rising sign, your ascendant sign, becomes the 1st house, so we've spoke all through the 1st house topics, so we're going to look at 4th, 7th and 10th. So the 4th house for you guys is Libra. The 4th house, that represents home, family, nurture, deep emotions, roots, traditions. So with you having Libra here, you know, it's very important to you. One of the more important focuses you have in life is being in a relationship. Relationships are of the utmost importance to you, and Cancerians anyway, you know, Cancer risings can be home bods, like they're home quite a lot. The home is a very important place for them. So especially having Libra here in the 4th, you deeply seek a lovely, peaceful, balanced home life. These people prefer peace and harmony in their home. They don't like bad vibes and bad energy. They don't want that, because the home is their place where they go to retreat, their safe place to get away from anyone's judgment, shut people out. Someone's done their head in, they can just go home and cook and clean and make themselves happy, busy doing the things that they want to do. But because it's also going to make you very concerned with relationships. But particularly, you're seeking a balance in relationships, very much so. You're looking for someone who can give you what you give them, where it's a 50-50 thing, where it's not all on some one particular partner to do all of the housework, for example. It's equally split. In your 10th house, you've got Aries. Now, the 10th house is the house of career, public image, how you're seen really, and that for you is Aries. That's the cardinal male fire sign. So when it comes to you guys and your career, you have very much a go-getter energy. The Cancer rising already makes you cardinal and have go-getter vibes about you anyway. But having Aries up in the 10th, there's quite significant. So when you want to go for something, you want to go for it. You know, you appear to people as really like nice and kind and sweet, but you know, when it comes to having a bit of a competitive nature and doing well, you guys have got an inner drive to achieve that. And when you're at work, you're definitely someone who prefers and would want a role where you've got some independence, where you can have some autonomy. Cancer rising wouldn't do well with somebody constantly micromanaging them. It's really not what they need. I mean, you guys have a quick look at, I know we're going to focus on the angular houses, but quickly jump at the 6th house. You've got Sagittarius in your day-to-day routine and your daily routine of work and people that you're around. 10th house being the career. So 6th house is Sagittarius. What do Sagittariuses need? Freedom. They don't want to be restricted. You guys don't want to be restricted. You know, you have the ability to think bigger picture when it comes to your career. I also have noticed with Cancer risings, you guys have always seemed pretty lucky when it comes to getting roles. You just kind of seem to be in the right place at the right time. Things just like kind of come to you quite naturally, but you are grafters, so, and you can have a competitive nature at work. Like you will want to win, but you are here to be striving towards that independent energy that is Aries in the 10th. Let's finish up and look at your Descendant sign and 7th house. Descendant 7th house, same thing and how I'm speaking about it. 7th house is the house of relationships, long-term relationships with other people. Now, everything I'm about to say does not mean that you can only be with the energy in your 7th house to have a relationship. Of course not. I mean, sun sign, moon sign, Venus sign, they are all important and play a part, but for the purposes of looking at the Descendant in the 7th house, you guys, it's Capricorn. So this means you usually attract the Capricorn type people, and that's what you're attracted to. You need stability in a partner. You don't need someone who's flip flop, who's got no, like, inconsistent. You guys don't need inconsistency around you in your relationships. You know, you need someone who's stoic and strong and sturdy. Capricorn archetypes are driven, financially stable most of the time. They're not flippant with their money. They're not emotionally flippant people. So what a Capricorn archetype can really do for a Cancer rising is help ground you. You guys react very much from an emotional place. Capricorns don't. They go from a more logical and practical place. So they can kind of balance out your decisions. It's a balancing energy for you. I mean, Capricorn's ruled by Saturn. So it's a very reliable, as I said, consistent energy. This is someone who's very hardworking. You know, this is somebody who is about their career and having a stable path and having a 10, 20-year plan built out. This is what you need. Someone who wants to build with you long term. Someone who you know is going to be there for you no matter what. Capricorns are loyal. They are reliable. They are stable. They are very, very stoic by nature, you know. Cancer and Capricorn are also both the signs that are focused on family. Capricorns are very family orientated signs, which is an attractive thing for you. You want someone who is family orientated like that. And because Saturn's very fair energy, you know, they have a very fair view and approach to things. They're good at compromise, but might be able to help you with your emotional imbalances that you can sort of have, and again vice versa, you can help a Capricorn by showing them the more emotional sides that there are to life, because Capricorns don't always have that vision. They don't have time for crap, basically. You know, Capricorns aren't time wasters. They're not money wasters. You know, they are pretty serious people, and it's an energy that you will do well from. So when I'm saying Capricorn archetype, this could be a Capricorn sun or moon person we're talking about here. It's not sure about the sun sign. It could be a Jupiter or a Jupiter in Capricorn, a stellium Capricorn, you know, or 10th house stellium type person. These people will be a good person for you to partner up with in life. They'll be your yin to your yang. They're both cardinal signs. So although, you know, you've got opposite traits, you've also got similarities. That's why it's why it's a good balance of energies to have. So I'm going to leave it there, guys. That was my video on the Cancer rising sign. If there's anything that I said that you liked or could relate to, then drop me a like. And if you haven't subscribed yet, then please subscribe and come with me on my astro journey through YouTube. Coming up in my next video, we're going to be talking all about the Leo rising.